Franklin D. Roosevelt once said, "Real estate cannot be lost or stolen, nor can it be carried away. Purchased with common sense, paid for in full, and managed with reasonable care, it's about the safest investment in the world." And real estate is what we do. This is the Realtors Radio Network. There's no sense in overcomplicating real estate. And if you're a first-time home buyer, an investor, or a real estate agent, you're about to get useful, practical, and smart advice on every facet of real estate. Welcome to the Realtors Radio Network. Now your hosts, Santos Garcia, Marcos Suarez, and Dawn McCullough.
Welcome to Realtors Radio Network. Today we have Erick Gonzalez. Erick is a fantastic agent out of the Woodbridge area, Central Jersey, and we're going to have a quick chat with him today, see how he's doing. But before we do that, let's introduce the usual suspects. You have Santos Garcia.
Como todos los días.
You have Dawn McCullough. And you have myself, Marcos, and I'm happy that we got a chance to have a chat today. Our schedules are always a little crazy. That's why we set that so far in advance. Usually we give people a couple of days notice, and we're like, yeah, let's go.
Wow, okay.
But you're being from the Central Jersey, the studio being up here in North Jersey, and we need to make sure we coordinate it. So how are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here.
Good.
We're happy to have you.
Yes. We always like to ask what you did before real estate, just so we can start moving forward from there.
Before real estate, I was still in sales. I was working for T-Mobile.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, I used to. Before I left T-Mobile, the position I left was kind of like a district manager. I was an account executive.
Okay.
So I had 20 stores under my belt, and they were spread out at times. Sometimes I had stores as far as South Jersey, and then I had stores in the Bronx. Sometimes I had stores in Brooklyn. I think the last territory I had was Brooklyn.
Wow. So how many people would you say you were managing? Like people? I know 20 stores. That's a lot. It sounds like a lot of people.
Managing, I would say maybe around 20 plus, or maybe 20 managers. And I wasn't managing necessarily the stores. I was managing the managers. Mm-hmm. So I was managing, I was working mostly with our owner partners.
Okay.
So the owner partners would be the ones that I would connect with, and then we would have our own initiatives that we would try to drive.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's an interesting field, because it's especially right now. T-Mobile is like number one, right, in the world.
Yeah. During that time, it was a lot of changing. So there was an acquisition that happened. Then there's a lot of turmoil.
Mm-hmm.
But you live and learn through it.
Right.
I think one of the biggest challenges there was basically that people aren't as motivated as you are, and they should be even more motivated, because it was their money that you were trying to get them to move on.
Right.
And I think it became a thing where people found it to be stale, and it needed to change, basically.
Interesting that people are not motivated. Like, why wouldn't you be motivated? It's your store, it's your money that you're handling, and
yeah, I mean, I was dealing with a lot of serial entrepreneurs. So you had people who just had to wear many hats, and T-Mobile just happened to be one of the hats that they wore, but it wasn't the main cash cow. So then they're not necessarily focused on it, and for the way that the changes were happening, you needed to be focused on it 100%. Because if you weren't, you were going to be left behind. A lot of people did get left behind. And then the catching up period, if you didn't catch up quick enough, you were cut as well. So it was one of those things where I could see where we were going. So my job was a lot of forecasting. and then just spreading the word like a gospel. And then if you weren't moving, then I had to, try to take action with it.
Now, what made you move from that world? This is very corporate, right?
Mm-hmm.
What made you move into, okay, let me be my own, I'll be an entrepreneur myself? Because that's, every realtor is a 1099, right? You're your own boss. You go from that structure to this. How do you make that transition?
My answer would be twofold. I mean, one was the biggest change in my life was my son being born.
Oh, cool.
So I got my license when my son was born. I was testing during the times where he was waking up in the middle of the night. And those were rough only because the days I would have tests would be like the long days, and it would just it would took a lot of determination to get my license at that point. And then just realizing that the time that I wanted to have based on the job that I had wasn't going to be there unless I made something happen. And then you're dealing with serial entrepreneurs every single day. So some of that is going to rub off on you.
Right.
Yep.
And that mentality just made me go like, all right, I need to grow on my own. And there's just a lot of window time when you are going from store to store. So a lot of the stuff was kind of like just picking up different podcasts or books on tape, figuring out what I would want to do. And I ended up in the real estate space simply because it was something that I knew I could start part-time. And then it became something where it was like leaning towards a lot of the stuff that I wanted to do in any case, which was advocating for people who wanted the help, which is something different from what I was doing.
Right.
Yep.
And then the investing side of this world definitely draws me in. And knowing the ins and outs of like a construction, that helps a lot. So getting into that world, that's also fun. It has nothing to do necessarily with making a sale, but if you start kind of like knowing, what how to just do drywall, for example, it does go a long way because when you're helping somebody, you can see past all the ugly stuff.
Right.
And go like, I know this is a really nice house. You just don't see it yet.
Right.
So that stuff makes me excited when I'm seeing like, I'm going to help you build so much equity.
Sure.
You're going to walk into this house and you're going to be happy with it, but you just have to kind of see the vision for what it is.
Absolutely. It's funny because I feel the same way knowing the building, they use this building material. Oh, this is sheetrock. This is plaster. This is like, don't worry. That's not a scary thing. It's just that's where the two drywalls, that's where the sheetrock meet. And, there's just tape that wasn't done properly. Like you're able to explain stuff like that.
Yeah.
And take that scary part of it, of the unknown out of it. And so that does help. Yeah, that's exciting for me too. I still walk into houses, even friends' houses. I'm walking around. Yep, that's that.
Yeah,
that's that. And even from the outside, I'll drive in a neighborhood and I'll look at the rooftops of the bathroom's over there, the kitchen's over there.
Yeah,
just from looking at the roof.
The same thing.
Yeah, yeah. So that's always fun. So cool. That's a pretty neat transition because you understood what you were, what you wanted out of things, and you had, not just the ambition, but you knew. Okay, this is where I'm headed. I like the investing part of it too. I like, that's a pretty cool way to see things because you understand clearly. It sounds like you understand yourself. You understand what your path is.
Yeah, to a degree. I mean, it's always evolving, and the biggest thing is that you just have to stay consistent with it. I think I get asked, what's like the secret juice, or like how did you get to where you're at right now, and that is always the same answer.
Yeah.
It's like consistency
is undefeated.
And it never looks the same. Consistency could be, different one day from another, but if you're always moving, you're definitely going to go somewhere.
Absolutely.
But the moment that you stay still and just, you're going to regress, and the way it regresses is like tenfold sometimes. So, yeah, I would say that one of my harder years was just when I think my son was probably like 1 or 2. That was one of the harder years because it was transitioning into first-time father and then trying to run the business, and it was just tough to handle both sides. But once I think you get your systems down, it's about maintaining yourself around the right people, trying to get out of your negative space that you were in, because I had imposter syndrome for a long time before I got over it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. It's just interesting that you mentioned that.
Yeah. My imposter syndrome did not come from the sales side. I felt pretty confident as far as being able to sell. My imposter syndrome, I think, came from not doing it enough. So I felt like I didn't have the expertise that maybe somebody else had but little by little, I started realizing that if I didn't have the lived experience, I had the learned experience. And the learned experience was coming from just remaining in the right circles.
Right.
Yep. And consistently being a part of something where everyone was trying to grow in a certain way. So then when it became a scenario where it was a lived experience, I already had a lot of the tools without actually, making it an effort. I didn't have to flex a muscle in order to stay consistent.
Sometimes theory is just as important as practical, right? So if you learned enough, but the time that it came to apply it, it didn't matter that you hadn't done it 1,000 times yet. You had learned it 1,000 times. So that it makes it easier. It's almost like smoother if you learn enough.
Yeah, and I think everybody's initiative or drive is going to be so much more different one from another. So sometimes you're dealing with an agent that you can tell, is kind of losing it or not in the right space, and you can even reset an agent just by telling them like, all right, like, look, this is where we're at right now, but we can absolutely do this. And it helps because I think real estate can also be a business where you feel like you're on an island, and when you get to that space, I think being on an island, you can get negative very quickly.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
It's a scary place to be in your own head.
Yeah. Because you're telling yourself your own narrative, and sometimes your own narrative is just setting limitations on yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
And at that point, you have to learn to reach out for help, right? Because a lot of the times, you're on an island and it's self-inflicted, right? No one told you to go there. No one cast you away. It's just you drifted away from your pack for a minute, or maybe you've gone in your own direction. Not for a bad thing. Sometimes you go off to try. Oh, let me just do this open house on my own, or let me go make these calls on my own, and then you realize, well, I've been doing this alone for a while. I wonder how everybody and then you start thinking, I'm not doing this right. Why am I not getting here? And you don't realize that the rest of the pack might be exactly at the same point that you are. And I'll tell you this as an example. I won't use any names, but there was towards the end of last year of 2024, I had an agent come up to me and say, hey, listen, I'm not doing well. I'm thinking about getting out of the business. And I'm like, are you being serious right now? Because it sounds serious. But do you realize that you were in the top 10 or the top whatever or the top 11? Like, do you realize how far you've gone? You've come, and then as high as you were last year, take a look around. You're not alone. Everybody had a down year. Yeah. Like, don't be so hard on yourself. Come back. Here, let's hug it out. Let me bring you back. Let me show you. Let's step back and look at the rest of the field. You see how everybody else? Yeah. 4.02 million versus the usual 5, 6, or people are used to even the 7 million from 2005 sales. It's like, no, everybody is in the same position. Don't quit. Just I like to send out a message to the group every once in a while. When you're feeling tired, learn to rest, not quit. Because sometimes everybody else is in the same thing.
Yeah.
And if you're feeling down, come to one of us. Come to Positiveville. We'll help you out.
Go on vacation.
Yes,
Get
go
a
on
change in
vacation.
perspective.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that statistic that stood out to me when I was feeling that way was some agents are let me say that correctly. On average, an agent does one transaction for the whole year. And when I think about that, I'm just like, well, I've done 2, 3,
Right,
4,
right,
5.
right, right.
And it makes me go like, oh, I'm already above average just
Right.
by doing more than one.
Right.
So then it goes back to like, all right, so what is my goal? And then that helps me solidify things a little bit more because if you're just looking at it on a larger scale, it might not make sense for you because you can feel a little desperate when you have a buyer that you've been working with for 6 months all of a sudden say, hey, I'm going to stop looking. And then 2 weeks later, hey, I bought my house.
Right.
Yep.
So,
But that
Yeah.
only happens if you're only working with that one buyer. If
With
you
that
have
one.
working
Yeah.
with 4, you're like, all right, I'll move on.
You know
Yeah.
what I found funny, like how you said that at your previous job you would be in positions where you are working with, let's say, a branch owner, and you will be more interested in helping than the owner itself, right? Like you're here offering solutions. Hey, I'm gonna increase your ROI and everything, and they'll be like, right? So I feel that sometimes in real estate it's like that. Sometimes like you could be on the seller side, on the buyer side, and you're trying to help the other agent, and you're like, hey, I'm here, here's the business, and they're not motivated and not helping. Or you have the client itself is like, I don't know. I mean, the opportunity is there. Like, have you encountered that situation?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I find that it's kind of like working with just like a general contractor. Not every general contractor runs their books perfectly.
Yeah. Or even their crews the same way, right?
Right. So then it becomes a thing where you can tell just from the person that you're on the other end with that they might need this deal a little more than you do.
Right. At that point, you're feeling like Jerry Maguire in the movie. Help me, help you. Help me, help you.
That's how I feel sometimes. I'm like, let me help you get what you want.
But I also think that it becomes a game of where your head is, because you could be coming from a point of diminishing returns or a point of saying there's abundance out there.
Yep.
And it sounds crazy, and I can see why some people look at us like, man, that person has a lot of faith in what they're doing. But it's because we have to continually drive our way into there's abundance out there, because it's going to happen where somebody's just going to fall out from your business, not because of anything that you did. There's things that fall completely out of your control, and you can't depend on that one client. So you have to continually work several funnels and continually work. You're driving a big ship, and the more that you can, generate that engine, the better it's going to be for you.
Right.
The way I see it is our job is to help people. How do you feel knowing that there's somebody out there that needs your help, and you're here just trying to help a single person when you can help multiple? Like, just try to help as many people as you can.
Yeah, I take that very seriously. The part where we say we are fiduciary, I take that to heart, because your loss is my loss, your win is my win.
Right.
Yep.
And I think my clients do feel that when they're working with me, because they start to value your time. If you've seen 5-10 houses, and they go like, oh, you don't have to come to this open house. And I'm like, no, I really want to come.
Yeah.
I was like, you got to understand that I need to see the house from my eyes.
Right.
And that little effort that you do to put yourself out there and show the client, like, this deck looks great, but if you look below the deck, this is kind of worn out. Like these posts look kind of eaten away. Like this might be an issue. It helps because at that point, the client, even if they love the house, they could see the the errors or the damage that might be in the home that they have to live with now.
Yeah.
And
your expertise is bringing clarity to the situation,
Yep.
and that's the value that you bring as an agent. The previously learned mistakes from someone else, I'm now bringing this expertise to you so that you don't fall into these traps.
Yeah.
And that I think they see that in you. I mean, I've heard you speaking with your clients, and I could see that they see value in what everything that you bring to the table.
Yeah, because I think one of the things that we need to change as realtors is just the narrative of what a realtor is. Because if you're looking at it from the outside, it does kind of look like you're just an ambulance chaser chasing the commission, right? And there is those type of agents that will, chase the commission. But there's plenty of people who are desperately like trying to help you and guide you in the right direction. And it's not just based off, what their fee is going to be at the end of the day. It's going to be off of the relationship that you guys have built. And then from there, it's just showing you, all right, this is just one avenue of, like, you just bought your home, but guess what? In a couple of years, you're going to be able to do this. Mm-hmm. And those things, something that I drive to all my clients, because I show them how much bigger it could get for you if it's something that you wanted to pursue.
Right. And that's where the word compensation, that's where I've always preferred to use the word compensation when it comes to us getting paid, because compensation is earned, right? You put in that work. You should be compensated for your time and your efforts, and you should be compensated. Commission sounds like a tax that they used to do in the mid 1800 or the royals used to tax people. That was the commission you paid for the property that you live on. That was called the commission. These taxes. No, we're compensated for the work that we do. I believe that even the NAR changed the wording on that, because it is a compensation. We are working for this, and we do bring value to the table. And so, all of these clients that you've helped in the past, you were able to say, okay, yeah, look underneath the deck. Mm-hmm. This has this going on, right? Mm-hmm. Not every realtor brings that to the table. Yeah. So it's good that you demonstrate value that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the job that I enjoy is looking at the property from a different lens, because
a professional set of eyes.
Yeah, because trained eyes are much more different than somebody who's just looking at the home.
Yep, absolutely. Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci, they all saw things differently. A lot of people used to walk by, these blocks of marble, but Michelangelo, right? The whole David, the statue of David, that's what he saw when he looked at that block of marble. This great, perfect man, perfect symmetry, perfect whatever. Everybody else just saw a block of stone in that marble. The marble was just stone. He saw this perfect statue.
Yeah, I feel like I get that a lot from my dad, because my dad, although by trade he's a mechanic, he's a machine operator, a mechanic, he could do whatever he wanted with his home. Like I've seen my house that I've grown up with just change so much over the years, and it's a lot of just his own
sweat equity.
Sweat equity, his own ideas coming into play, and then him knowing how to actually do it. So some of that stuff I learned by osmosis, and then some of it I learned because I decided, hey, I'm gonna go on an investor trip, and I'm gonna see several properties, see different facets of the property. I'm gonna start working with investors, and investors are gonna tell me what they're looking at. I'm gonna pick their brain because I want to see how they evaluate things, and then you start learning that one investor evaluates different from another, and you can easily gauge the experience of investors like that, because every investor client wants to get into something, but the moment that you start going, all right, so how do you see the world? And then they kind of start telling you, you're like, oh, okay, so your level of experience is this much.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it helps you, because at that point you're either going to be a coach or you're going to be an auxiliary player. And if you are an auxiliary player, that's how you're going to help them, get to where they want to go. Right. But if you have to coach them, then that's how you're going to get that particular investor to go to where they want to be. Mm-hmm. And both of them have value. You just have to figure out where you fit in.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
I love that. That's why buyers consultations consultations are so important. You need to find out who is it that you're working with. Is it you need to show up as a coach, or you need to show up just as an assistant? Like, 'cause some people, they're going to show up and they're going to tell you, hey, I know what I'm looking for. I just need you to help me out with this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Even if we're talking about sellers, sellers are funny too, because you're basically letting a stranger into your home, and you're saying, hey, this is my most valuable asset. Can you help me make the most amount of money from it?
Right.
And then you have to come in and, show them all your cards. But some people don't believe you. And it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you don't have to believe me, because all this stuff really doesn't matter. I need to know why you even want to sell.
Right.
Because what happens is they start realizing, I've had roots in this house for 20 years. Like, my kids grew up in this house.
Right.
My grandkids know this house. So then we start having different conversations, because I need to really know if you want to sell this house.
Yeah, the motivation is very important.
Yep. Yeah, and you start to find out that the drivers might not be there, and that's okay. And I want them to realize it on their own. Like, even if it's, not there today, it's more than okay. Because ultimately, getting your business is one thing. Getting it sold is so much more. Because the getting sold part in a turning market, you really have to know what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And if you don't know what you're doing, you're just going to have an experience of, all realtors are the same.
Yeah, it's going to leave a bad taste in your mouth. And,
yeah.
For not just for that one agent, for the profession in some cases. People think
exactly.
that everybody's the same.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that, again, going back to that word fiduciary, it's not just fiduciary for the client relationship, but also fiduciary for the profession. Because
Correct.
right now we're just going through the point of, should we even exist as a profession?
Yeah.
And I think that if we can take control more of that narrative and say, like, this is what we actually do. Like, we're not expected to be seeing every single facet of our work, but that's the whole point, that you don't see it.
Right.
We want you to feel like it was a smooth transaction without you having to lift a finger.
It's we make it such we dedicate ourselves to that particular transaction so well that to you it seemed flawless. To you it seemed like, oh, this is easy. But that's what a professional does. They make a hard thing look easy. Everybody's, I want to be like Mike. I want to be, do you know how many hours that man used to work out a day, holding that ball so it felt like a feather in his hand, that he could do anything, put it anywhere on that court? Same thing with Steph Curry. Yeah, everybody's, thinking, oh, man, he makes it look easy. Yeah, you go try that. See how many times? You go try that. I've had about 11 or 12 clients, past clients, inactive clients, as we like to call them. I've had 11 inactive clients where they, I think it was actually 12, that got into real estate because they thought I made it look easy. Mm. And then they got into real estate, one of them lasted a year. One of them, they don't last, it doesn't, and some of them kept their license longer than they should have, just to see if maybe it was just a timing, maybe it was that they thought that if they waited long enough that a deal would come to them. I said, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
We're out here learning every single day on every single transaction. There's something different every day. There is no rhythm. Mm-hmm. The only rhythm is constant learning. That's the only consistent part of real estate, is you have to continue to learn at all stages of the game, every part of it. Building relationships, learning this one new thing. Oh, there's a new app, or there's a new phone call, new person to call. There's someone called me. Let me reach out to them, follow up. All of these things that's the business. All of it, not just one thing. And so, I think consistency, getting back to that's the most important. But I forget where I was heading with that little tangent. But there's so many things. But so I was really getting back to that. Everybody thinks we make it look easy, including these people that say, "Oh, for sale by owner, I'm gonna go. We don't need realtors." Mm-hmm. And then statistically, within 3 weeks, they're going to need a realtor. They're going to need us because there's a lot that we do that they don't see. Right.
Yep.
Even the who was it? The for sale by owner.com CEO sold with a realtor. I mean, that's if that doesn't tell you.
Yeah, I mean, I think the people don't see how many no's that we get over and over again, and then the ability to be able to say, "I'm still going to come back and do it again."
Right.
That is a skill that you have to continually build on and grow, because that'll tell you whether you actually want to do this or not.
Right.
And then, I think when we first started the podcast, you guys were like, "Oh, I've never seen you like out of pocket, right?"
Right.
That's only because it's something where I know it's coming. Like I know the beast is on the other side of the wall, right?
That shoe is gonna drop.
So
you
a
control it.
A lot of those times, I'm just like, all right. So what do I have to do when that gets there?
Right.
And a lot of the stuff for me, it's internal. I have to have time for myself. I have to set a schedule. I have to put things that I want to do in front of me, get around the right people. So if you don't have those systems built in place, you can get scattered so quickly, and it becomes where it's like your head is always on fire. When my head is on fire, you probably won't know it because I have the systems that I'm already bouncing off of, and I'm forecasting for those things to happen because there is no guarantee in my business. So because I know that there is no guarantee, I have to continually generate.
Right. Yep. Fantastic. So I'm going to switch gears a little bit and ask you, what's the do you have any crazy stories in real estate? Anything on the seller, on the buyer side, anything that you've seen while you've been a realtor that you're like, oh, this one crazy thing happened to me?
Actually, this past spring, I went into a house where you could tell like it was a great opportunity for anybody who wanted to invest in this home. What you couldn't see from the outside was that you actually couldn't get into this home without moving tons and tons and tons of garbage bags that were stored up in the house.
Wow.
So being in these homes, I can tell when it's a hoarder situation. Yeah. That one was one. But I can only crack the door enough to fit my body through.
Wow.
And there was just tons and tons of garbage bags, black garbage bags. And there were so many garbage bags, we missed one of the bathrooms that was listed on the listing. And then when we got to the attic space, because it was so dark, I took like a misstep and almost fell down on the attic. I remember just grabbing one of the posts and be like, "Oh, I'm okay." Like I meant to do that.
It's okay. I'm a limo driver.
Okay.
You still have insurance.
It was on the script.
So, yeah, I mean, you don't know what you're going to walk into when you're going into a home that's like that in disrepair or distressed. And those could be the ones that, you could talk about, laugh about later. And then on the selling side, crazy things that could happen is just maintaining the emotions of the seller. Because they're going through a lot of things and you have to give them grace. And one of the things is kind of like detaching with their home. And then it becomes the physical side of like getting to move all your things out of the home that you've had. And you don't realize how many things you've collected. So then those things become an unneeded anxiety that you could get ahead of. And then as you're going through their transaction, if you are updating them on even the smallest things, it just helps them just get over that anxiousness that you already know is going to be there. So at least on the selling side, it becomes a lot of unneeded anxiety because they don't necessarily know what the next step looks like. And even if they did, a lot of the outside stuff that's gonna happen during the transaction makes it like feel like a ton of weight. So, I mean, for that's on the selling side, that's what I've seen so far. It's just it can be a lot of unnecessary stress brought into a transaction.
On the crazy story side, I just remember something that used to happen during the pandemic, because recently I went to show a property and I'm trying to open the lockbox and I couldn't open it. So I called the listing agent, and the listing agent, she got pissed because I'm like, that's not the code. She was like, yeah, but it's supposed to open. I'm like, no, that's not the code. So the thing is that I couldn't show the property. And I remember that during the pandemic time, you will go to show a house and the key was not in the lockbox. So some agents will get
Yeah.
Yeah.
so you can put your offer.
Right.
So did that happen to you guys? Any of you remember being in a situation like that?
Well, that's actually one of the reasons why I do not use those combo lock boxes, because
People
you
take
can't track things.
Yeah.
They changed the code?
Change the code, take the keys.
Right.
Sure, when it's that competitive. I remember seeing that. Oh, when I first started this business 20 years ago, or more than 20 years ago, that was a big thing. People would take the keys all the time, so no one else could show the house. It was a different market. It was like whoever put the first full price offer
Right.
in got the house, and that was
Gotcha.
it. So a little bit different market, but yeah, that's.
But you have a lockbox. I saw you have a lockbox that changes for every agent. Like the code, like you can change it from your phone or something, right?
I
For
do.
every
Yeah,
agent,
I do
it's different.
have that. Yeah, and it only works during the time that they're
That you-
supposed to schedule,
Yep.
that they're
Yeah.
supposed to show.
That's
it.
like a different company from Supra, the one that we use?
It is, but
Oh,
I
that's
still do
cool.
prefer the super ones, just because they're traced. As soon as somebody is accessing it, I get an alert and that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Supra, because you can call the agent, hey, the key's not here, and they can call, and be
They
like,
know who
okay, let
took
me
it
just call
last.
the last
Yep.
person.
Right.
Yeah.
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 yeah. Yeah.
So what's been the longest transaction you've ever had?
I want to say it was almost a year.
Wow.
Mm.
Sure sell?
No.
A
So
regular deal.
Ooh.
That's a long wait.
uh
Imagine
this
if you have
deal
to wait
actually
to eat.
you know what? I could have used this story as one of the things that I've seen, the craziest things in real estate. So my client was purchasing a 2-family home, which was 3 bedrooms on both floors and a bathroom on both floors. It had bonus space in the attic and then a bonus space in the basement.
Okay.
So that was a great deal. He didn't know it as well as I did it. And even at the time when we submitted the offer and he felt like he was overpaying, I was like, you don't know what you're seeing just yet. What took so long for this deal to close when I needed it to close was the family that was living there was also running a junkyard business out of the backyard.
Oh, my
wow.
goodness.
So the first time that I went to go see the property, I saw the stuff in the backyard, but I didn't make anything of it. It was only really until we're in the transaction when I'm realizing that they're basically using it as holding space. And the town really wasn't saying anything because it was in the backyard where they really couldn't see anything. But it was just so many things that you would see in the backyard. Sometimes you would see a washer dryer. Sometimes you would see an old lawnmower. Sometimes you would just see all different kind of debris. And we couldn't even close with a temporary CO until that debris was removed. So it was one of the things where you had to build the relationship with the people who live there and get them to realize, like, hey, we can't do anything with this unless you guys help us out here. And to a degree, they did help us out. They got a lot of the stuff removed, but it still wasn't enough. And we even built a relationship to help them with their business. From when I have stuff that needs to be cleaned out, I can give them a call now. But I needed to get the listing team involved because they weren't moving fast enough on things when we had hard deadlines. So for that one, I think the city came out maybe 4 times to try to give me a temporary CO.
Wow.
Wow.
And I think on the 4th time was when he realized that, I finally got the debris all done. And there was, X amount of items that were on the temporary CO list that were completed. And he was just like, all right, like this is what we're going to do now. And thankfully we were able to do that only because of the condition that the home was in. That was such disrepair that they would allow it. But it did make it where it was a long, drawn-out affair, partially because I needed to get the commitment from the people that were living there, and then partially because it was wintertime, so we were hitting snow.
Wow.
So because of those things, you start to realize, what can affect your timeline and what stuff you can control, what stuff you can't control.
Right.
But, it did make it a good learning experience because if I didn't take the initiative of getting to know the tenants and letting them know this is what's going to happen and showing them, the pieces that are coming in place, I don't think they would have moved. But because, someone spoke to them, someone even said hello to, it's their home, it did drive them a little bit faster because now they're seeing a familiar face that's going to be there X amount of times to make sure things are happening properly. And it works both ways when you're dealing with a city who is looking at you like, the debris still not gone.
Yeah.
But,
Like
but
now,
you know what? I'm thinking
now there's a whole couch.
I'm thinking about something though as you're talking about it, and I hear you, right? And I hear what the city is saying. But the flip side to it is the city is asking somebody to shut their business down in a way, right? We're not maybe thinking about it in that way. We're just thinking, hey, we need to close. We need to get the CO or temporary CO or whatever. But essentially, probably no one thought, including the tenants themselves, hey, part of the owner of or our landlord selling this property means we have to shut our business down.
Yeah.
Right? In a strange way. It sounds a little unusual, but you can kind of see both sides to it.
No, I think that's the hat I needed to wear in order to get them to even start putting energy into doing that, because he did go like, all right, I have another place I'm going to move it to. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. You have to put yourself in other people's shoes. You have to identify with them enough so they know that you care. And then at that point, things will happen for you.
What would you say would be a good piece of advice to give someone getting into a brand new realtor? Because it sounds like that would be it. It's getting into people's,
Like, just talk to Eric. He's got all the advice
Right.
for the new agents.
I think if you're just starting off, you have to have your own drive because your drive is going to get you going. But then you also have to put yourself in uncomfortable spaces and remain in them, because those comfortable spaces will get you out of whatever shell you're in and make you grow. And I say make because there's going to be positions where you weren't prepared for it, but guess what? It's happening.
Right.
Sure.
So once you have that experience, it helps you get to the next phase. And then it's always be learning. You have to continually learn, even if it's the same topic. Sometimes a different spin on it just wakes you up in a different way, where you go, oh, yeah, you know what? I've been doing it this way for X amount of time. Now I know how I want to do it a different way. And it helps. Also putting yourself in conversations that are different levels. One that's below, maybe one or your experience level, one that's above your experience level, and then you start to realize the commonalities in them. And then that helps you digest of, maybe my business is fine and I'm not necessarily, behind.
Right.
It's you start to realize that even top performers are dealing with the same amount of issues that you are, and it's just because their business funnel has matured a little more, that it looks like they're being more productive, or maybe are more productive. So those are the things that you have to continually do. So if you're coming into the business and you're going, I'm going to be making $1. It's like, you might make $1,
Yeah.
but you're not going to be able to grow a business unless you're dedicated to it.
Right.
So it's a business where I would say don't get into it if you don't have the right intentions. And even if you do have the right intentions, make sure you have enough drive to get you where you want to be.
Perfect.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
And I feel like the advice you just gave is not just for real estate. It's really great life advice as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Thanks.
What would you? Well, actually, I wanted to ask you. I mentioned at the top of the program that you're in Central Jersey, but could you tell us about a few of the towns that you service? Like, what areas do you prefer to work in?
I prefer to work in Central Jersey just because I grew up in Central Jersey, so what you know. But I've been working in Somerset County, Middlesex County, and I've touched parts of Hunterdon County, and even parts of Monmouth County. So I really service that particular area because I live there, I've worked there, so I know the area pretty well. The other reason I service the area is because my clients haven't been driving me to these areas.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I probably would have never touched Hunterdon County unless I've had clients that, unless I didn't have clients that wanted to be in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start to learn septics, for example.
Right.
How much a septic should cost. What's the maintenance on a septic? And people are so willing to tell you sometimes.
Right. Right.
So you get to build that experience just by kind of just putting yourself out there. So
you go where the business is, so that's where it's taking you.
absolutely. I'm not afraid to go somewhere else. I'm not afraid to just take on both sides of the business. I think it's something where you can build different skills on both sides of the business. Some people are just listing agents. Some people are just buyer's agents. I do both sides of the business because it's something I enjoy doing.
Sure. And it opens up the market, for you. You have the ability to work with, whoever comes to you. You're good. But I've noticed that you work in Sayreville a lot, Woodbridge, Edison, all those areas, and people are always happy to work with you. So it's good to see. I have seen you taking listings, working with buyers.
Mm-hmm.
I've visited some of your open houses.
Yeah.
I see that great flow going through there. So it's pretty cool to see your growth for sure.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I just picked up on from another agent was broker opens.
Sure.
So broker opens, I guess when I came into the business, really weren't needed because everything was a mile a minute. Mm-hmm. But now that things have
normalized,
doing a broker open, what that made me realize was this is the other person that you're gonna be working on the other end with. Mm-hmm. So it's good to create that network because when things aren't going the way you want it to go, your network is gonna help you drive.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So building that network, especially if you don't have a particular presence in an area, as simple as setting up for 2 hours and inviting your neighborhood brokers to come in and take a look at your property, give their opinion, goes a long way.
What I'm going to ask you some quick
rapid
fire, whatever comes to your mind. Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts?
I don't think I like either.
Okay.
All right, that was the first.
Yeah,
that's an honest answer. Do you drink coffee?
Oh yeah, I drink.
Right,
I drink coffee.
What's your go-to coffee?
I honestly just make coffee at home at this point because I feel like I've lost the taste for both of those brands.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I prefer to go to a coffee shop if it is a real coffee shop. Yeah.
Okay.
And how about lunch in the car or in the restaurant?
Me, I prefer lunch in the car. I'll definitely a pick up and go.
You're on the go, yeah.
Yep.
Most realtors.
He's a realtor. Oh
Yeah,
he's a real realtor.
Yeah.
But I will say I do enjoy eating alone too. So
Sure, yeah. There's a certain peace, that comes with and serenity of sitting just in either in your car or in a restaurant. Just, you know what, you're at your table. There's no rush.
Just
no
grab.
one's chatting you up about things that you know, let me eat.
Yeah,
Nobody's
gathering
asking
your
you.
own thoughts. And, yep.
Yes.
Nobody's asking you about the interest rates.
Yeah, I feel like realtors have mastered eating lunch in the car. I don't know if there's any other profession that is, well, maybe some utility companies.
Especially
or
on the
something,
weekends.
but, yep.
How about a favorite town? In Jersey.
My favorite town. I feel like I fall in love and out of love with a lot of towns. And they all kind of fall in different areas. Right now, I would probably say like the Hillsborough area.
Okay.
Because it's a little more open, so it's kind of serene in a way. And you do get a little bit of a taste of different life from other places because, like I said, it's just a little more open.
Yeah, I feel that way about Rumson. Rumson is very, you know, wide open. The homes are a nice set of, you know, there's good property to them. There's open land, and it's also, you know, it feels like a lakefront community. You know that kind of sleepy, quiet, you know, very, but also posh because it's a very, you know, densely rich area.
Yeah, I was gonna say Rumson is one of those towns where everybody wants to be in right now.
Right.
So Netflix is coming.
Right, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask you about vacation spot, like favorite vacation spot.
Honestly, anywhere that has a nice beach.
Yeah.
I don't really complain when it comes to vacation. Being on vacation is a blessing in itself.
Yeah.
Just having a nice getaway, because everything else that has to happen, you know, to get you there, has to happen, you know. Mm-hmm. So when you have a moment to be able to decompress, it feels great.
To no particular place, just as long as there's a beach.
As long as it's a beach, clear water, I'm great. I'm there.
Okay. Good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any other questions, guys? You guys,
just where we can find you. What's your kind of go-to? Are you like an Instagram person or social
Facebook,
media?
TikTok dancing.
Are you one of those realtors that's like jumping on the couch dancing?
No. Definitely not me.
You sell real estate. You don't sell dance moves.
Yeah. You can find me on Instagram. My Instagram is Erick Gonzalez Realtor. That's my personal page. My business page is Sold by Erick G.
And what's your phone number?
Phone number is 908-400-0783.
Got it. It's right here on the screen right now. You guys can. But all right, perfect. So just wanted to thank you on behalf of all of us. Thank you for coming on and sharing your story. And,
thanks for having me.
Thank you for your
now,
time.
everybody
pleasure
knows where to
chatting
find
with
you. Hopefully they all start calling you and chatting you up. about
Yes,
real
please
estate.
do.
Fantastic. Santos.
Alrighty. This is Realtors Radio Network signing off.
Keep an ear out for the next episode of the Realtors Radio Network, where Santos Garcia, Marcos Suarez, and Dawn McCullough share their wealth of real estate knowledge. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, review, and share. Find us on social media at Realtors Radio Network. See you next time on the Realtors Radio Network.